What's going on, all you Kevins? I am out here at Pitt's 2024 and I came across this car, and it is an amazing S197, probably to the level I've never seen before. As you can see behind me, it's called Borderline and it's built by this gentleman. Brent, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. Well, hey, first off, thank you so much for bringing this car out for people to see.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's an amazing car.
That's why we do it.
That's right.
That's why they call them show cars.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So you have your SEMA show hat on.
Yep.
Obviously it was built for that reason, probably to get to SEMA and have people really see something amazing.
It was a pleasant surprise. Never expected to be invited. So Tim McCarthy is the CEO of Hushmat and Zycote. Saw the car, or the rendering of the cars, and we talked about it at the Street Rod Nationals. Okay. That's when the invitation came. So then the deadline was on us. So 22 months later and 4,100 hours, there it sets.
Wow.
And then we were
4,100 hours.
Yeah, we did a lot of things that are really not done before, so you have to figure it out on the way. And
yeah.
So again, we have my favorite parts of the S197 Mustang. So I start with a 2010 grille and hood, and the only thing that's left of the 2010 fenders are the eyebrow here and then this peak. And we blend that 2010 front with the 05 through 9 sides. There's about this much left of the 2010 bumper, and then I modified the hood by cutting the hole in it. But this is 2010 meets 2005.
That is absolutely incredible. What about under the hood? Let's pop that hood and see what we got going on under there.
That's yet another Mustang. This is the donor under here is a 2014 Shelby GT500.
So as far as engine bays go, of course, we've all seen engine swaps. We've all seen different things that have happened.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the fabrication work and this engine you have here.
Well, maybe the first thing you notice past the bright colored big engine is no strut towers.
Correct.
This car has all Cortex, short arm, long arm suspension in the front. It's of course got their racing suspension in the back. So we took the aprons out and then put all of their short arm, long arm stuff. Now their kit allows you to use the strut towers if you don't want to cut them out, but I did. And the next thing you might notice is the distance between the back of the motor and the firewall. I've moved the firewall, the dash, the pedals, the steering column, everything back 4 inches. So the S197 guys all know they've never seen their bell housing, and that shot you're getting right now shows where we moved the firewall back.
That is a thing of beauty, and you are absolutely right. No one has ever seen that from the engine compartment, which is crazy, and it's powder coated to match, right? This gray color.
Yeah, the gray is sprayed.
It's all spray.
It's a De Beer product, so it's one of our sponsors. Everything inside and out is sprayed. The Cortex stuff underneath is powder coated.
Gotcha.
We figured it'd be a little higher abuse area, so it is powder coated in gray. Little features like no hose clamps, wire care. Michelle Benson at that company helped us with all of that and the shrink wrap. You'll notice the name of the car is Borderline. We have some little Easter eggs here and there around the car. The name of the car is integrated in the coil covers. Yep. Neat feature, a lot of the guys will cover and only show you the caps. I love that look, but I wanted to do something a little different, so I let our reservoirs show. Most all the Mustangs end up with the breather here, but one thing I did is I wanted to equalize the view of the valve covers, so I took the angle out and made my throttle body point straight out, and then I built my own tube so you can see more of this valve cover. So that's a feature to kind of do that. Good friend of ours, Sherry Lynn Westrich, owns Malwood USA, and she has a clutch kit. She's one of our sponsors, and it's unbelievable how much better it makes these cars shift. And then the kits they make them for hundreds of cars, but we use that under there in the mechanics. But the rest is clean it up, paint it up. Long tube headers. There's not a lot of modifications to the engine. It made 660 horse from Ford.
Yeah.
Our dyno pull was 727.
Wow.
The bonnet up here is carbon fiber. And then I mentioned my friends, Shane Henson painted the underside of the hood. Another buddy of mine that owns the company that's on my shirt is also my connection with De Beer, Larry Kelso. Larry and Tanya own Performance Auto Color. Larry did the spraying on the car. We've been friends forever, and he'd asked to do that, so Larry sprayed the car. Let me do all the buffing.
So I noticed you got some gorgeous forge lines on there.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing. I got to meet the owners, David and Stephen
Great
Shart
guys.
owned the company. Well, David worked with me on these because you can't buy a set of wheels for a Mustang. They had to set the offsets in them.
So amazing how they customize
Since
those.
I widened the car to come out to the fender wells. Then because of the car being widened, I also made the rocker panels all out of steel. And that's what my fenders set on the quarters when I brought them out. So that's all handmade as well.
Wow.
The 1970 looking mirrors are a kit that you put your modern guts in, and then the housing and the lens fit. And by widening the cars is where we created the shelf on top of the doors, and that allowed us to make our own 3D printed door handles. So there are only 2 of these in the world.
That's
what we did there.
Super cool, man.
Yeah, that's a neat feature that I really wanted. So
the 3D printing world allows so much.
yeah, that's the only
to be
3D
able to
printed
do.
thing that we did on the whole car, but
That's
it's a nice
still
touch.
really cool. So
Then-
what's the wheel setup? What are those in the back? It's
They're
what,
20?
20?
335s wide, and then a 20, and then the 19 on the front, so 285 wide.
So on the back, it's a 20 by what? 12, 11?
Yeah, the rim's 12 wide, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Now tell us about this rear end back here. I mean, you've obviously done a lot of work here.
Right. The tail lamp bezels are from 1968, Mustang tail light bezels, and then the S197s have a portion of the trunk lid that comes down here, and there's a panel between the tail lights. So I cut this deck lid off, and then we go from there. I had to remanufacture all the opening here for everything to fit together. So we took this portion out of a salvage car and put it back here. And I took this section that has to mate out of another trunk lid, put it here, and then fabbed the rest. And this gave us a great place for our kicker amp, because the car's all equipped with all kicker stereo equipment. And John Myers from Kicker was super helpful, making sure all that, we knew how to hook it up and make it sound great. It just, it's absolutely awesome. So to kind of keep the balance is why I went from 3 taillights to 5, so I could kind of balance the rear end of the car. And where your camera angle is there, if you catch the left quarter panel, you'll notice the fuel door is missing.
Oh yeah, it
So
sure is.
That feature's here.
I love that.
Yeah. Dave Kindig liked that an awful lot, since that's one of his products.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Yeah.
That is super cool. So now you have this different rear spoiler back here as well, of the rear fascia cover.
Yeah.
This has all been modified as well.
Yeah. And this one's widened to 4 inches because of the angles on the front. The front bumper cover actually had to be widened 7 inches.
Oh man.
So, and the car's as pretty underneath as it is on top, and that's why we had Darren Rutmanis, photographer out of St. Louis, did this photography for us, and then Jennifer Perrin, who has mod posters, actually put this all together and built the display. Took Darren's photograph and then made this display. She's also got the other promotional stuff around the car. So if anybody wants a real true artist to help them with showing their car off, Jennifer at Mod Posters is be a great choice.
That is really interesting. I love the display of the rear of the car.
Yeah.
I love how you've got some little touches here.
Yep. And
It's a muted name.
yeah.
Love that.
It's muted there. It's muted the same color on the dash. It's muted. It's in blue on the coil covers on the engine.
Wow. Let's go into the inside of this car, which obviously has a lot of cool features. If you'll open the door up and show us what we got going on the inside.
Probably one of the biggest things, and you'll have to pan up and catch the roll cage that starts behind the headlights and comes through the firewall. You can see it up in the windshield. But a lot of the roll bars that are made for Mustangs, the roll cages, reduce the headroom. So I've ran the roll cage up in the roof so we don't lose any headroom. It disappears here and then reappears in the back when it comes out of the headliner. I also took the package tray out where the speakers would be at the top of the back seat. So that's completely gone, which creates the deck in the rear of the car. You get back there, you'll see our kicker subwoofer in the back. The 17 Ford Focus Recaro seats recovered is what we use for these. They're super comfortable. And this is not a color that Ford offered. So Rick and Becky Walker out of Seymour, Iowa, ours do upholstery, did the interior. And so everything's been color changed and put in our colors, all in leather. So they did a great job. Small
beautiful
husband and wife team that built all the interior.
And it smells so good.
It's still pretty new.
It is new. I can smell how new it is.
Yeah, that leather smells super good.
What a gorgeous interior. The seamlessness of that roll cage and the touches you did there. It's really a testament to the artistry of hot rodders. And I love that you did that because it creates something that challenges, I think, so many Mustang lovers to step their game up.
Yeah, well, here's another thing. I do come from the collision repair industry and I'm retired, but I built this car in my garage behind my house. Now I have a pretty nice little garage, but it's still a garage behind my house. We did all the work there except the interior, which I don't do. And so for the DIY guy, those kind of folks, push yourself a little bit. You don't have to just write a big check. Do it yourself. If I had to do it again, it would take a lot less time because it's...
You learned a few things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Why this car? Why an S197? What sparked that for you?
I like all kinds of hot rod cars, different makes and models.
Yeah.
I just happened to have some ideas for a Mustang, and when Ford introduced the 70-ish looking Mustang with the modern car underneath it in 05, I really liked that. And then as the S197 progressed, there were certain features I liked better than others. So I had those ideas and I ran with it. And that's what you see here today. And there's, with a couple exceptions, it's all S197 and newer stuff.
Okay.
So I just put the things I like the best about the models of the S197s together, and here's what we have.
So tell our audience that is watching, what is the first thing, if somebody had never seen this car, what would you tell them about it? What's your favorite part of the car?
Biggest compliment would be if they just walked by and thought it was a Mustang with a fancy paint job and missed all the modifications. Because there's over 200 modifications to this car, and we tried not to lose the identity. So if you're an enthusiast, you'd see a Mustang rather than something that's chopped up or poorly done. So there's 6 different Mustangs here.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is a testament to that OEM plus, which yours is OEM plus plus plus.
Yeah. And my favorite thing is the blend, the way it came out.
Yeah.
It still looks like a Mustang.
It does.
But there's a lot of different years here.
Yeah, and the seamless transitions that I've seen here, not just in the colors that you used, but also the way you use them.
Yeah.
I just noticed first up, I'm like, the engine and the inside of the base being like a satin finish and the paint being gloss. I was like, that is the same color but different finishes and really unique. I liked that a lot. And then obviously, the roll bar, the way you tucked it and made it part of the headliner, that's incredible. I'm sure you've had people ask about that, but the amount of things you've done to this, the 200 things, what was the hardest thing you had to do?
Blending the 2010 front end headlight with the 05 through 9 sides to get all that to work up front. I couldn't we cut the sides off the car and widened it 2 inches on each side.
Okay.
But the angle with the headlight, you can't come straight out like we did the taillights. It comes out and back. So it's a 3D effect. And to get all that to come together and still look like a Mustang was what took the most time.
Wow, that's incredible. So when you got the call for SEMA, how'd you feel?
About half scared to death because it came with a deadline, and the creative process, it's so hard to hurry that. Yeah. And I had 2.5 years basically to do it, but it's still, thanks to my wife mowing the yard and fixing supper at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then I have several friends and they're standing around here that pitched in that really made a difference. Yeah. So it was kind of nerve-wracking when I got the call, but it's a once-of-a-lifetime thing. Yeah. I never expected that. No. I don't work for a manufacturing company, and SEMA's full of those companies. Right. Those people all have cars, so they have all kinds of opportunities to get cars in SEMA, and I'm from the outside, so I really appreciate Mr. McCarthy at Hushmat and Zycoat having seen the potential and then inviting me.
That's absolutely awesome. I noticed on your banner there, you're part of the Battle of the Builds. That's That's a incredible honor in itself,
Yep.
you know, to be invited and be a part of those things.
That was pretty exciting. And then we made the first round, but then my heroes that build cars with their stuff went on. So I was really proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely. I think that is an incredible testament to what one person and a little bit of their community and their spouse can do.
Yep.
This car is absolutely amazing. There's probably close to 1,500 Mustangs here, and this is one that really stood out to me and some people that said, you got to go check this thing out. So
another thing too is I kind of challenged myself. I come from the collision repair industry.
Okay.
But I challenged myself to do some things that we had never done before, like cutting the sides off the car. But this car was built in my garage by my house. Now I have a little above average garage, but still, I built it and I built it out behind my house.
That is awesome.
So for the guys that want to do something like this, I'd encourage them to get in, get their feet wet, because a lot of things are possible if you really want to do it. As you look at the bottom of that car, all the black areas are carbon fiber. And one of my friends that helped quite a little bit on this car, his name is Howie Harvey, and he and I learned how to lay that. Howie did the work and built all the carbon fiber panels underneath this car. So, and that kind of shows off a lot of the Cortex suspension stuff we did.
I love it. Brent, congratulations on a gorgeous car. Thanks for showing us, and appreciate all the hard work.
Likewise, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.